Hello everybody, Flying Scotsman 4472. I know it's been quite a while since I made a video, hasn't it? It's been like a month and a half. Yeah, I've been a bit busy lately because I just started school. So yeah, sorry that there hasn't been many videos, and I'll be making an update video soon on that. Just gonna want to get this quickly out of the way. But this is a review though. And by the way, this is my new set. This is my new desk that I got specifically for school, as the last place that I did my reviews on was actually a dresser. So this is an all new desk. So some reviews that I filmed before I got the dresser, or before I got this desk, are gonna look different halfway through the video, because then I would go back and reshoot some stuff on this because I had to. So I'm sorry, it'll be like 2 reviews and then that's it. But either way, let's get into today's review. Thomas Trackmaster Push Along, or I guess now it's just called Push Along, James. Why did I get this? Well, I was at Target today because we had to do shopping. We had to do like our once a week weekly shopping, and I decided to go to Target this week because I wanted to see if I could find one of these because they're extremely cheap. I got James for $6. There was also a Thomas and a Percy there. There wasn't any other characters. Last time I was there, they had Edward and Henry, so I'm assuming that they got either taken off the shelves or people bought them, and then so all that was there was Thomas, Percy, and James. I was tempted to get Thomas and Percy, but I rather got a James because I have more tender engines, and he wasn't that much more expensive. He was like $3 more. But I do plan to get Thomas and Percy next time I go. But here is James. I actually didn't want to get these engines first because I wanted to wait and get like the 12 pack of engines, the Sodor Steamies pack, but I decided to get these while they were there. So we're going to do a review of this. So let's look at the packaging. In my opinion, this is actually a really pleasant packaging. It's got the nice cloud effects here that are very Sodor-like. It's got the nice Trackmaster logo with the Thomas and Friends. It's got the red, it's got the red and blue along the side, the metal engine marking, 3 to 7. It's got the James right there, and then the Trackmaster push along right there with the, it looks like a wooden railway engine, so I don't know why that's there. And then you've got James in the corner. That was really nice. There you can see James. We'll get into him later. And then on the back of the packaging, it talks about more engines. So you've got the little Hit Entertainment and Fisher-Price logo, which I don't know why Hit Entertainment is still on this packaging, because wasn't this released after Mattel bought out Hit Entertainment? Whatever. But it says metal engine again, Trackmaster Push Along, also available, Flynn, Merlin, and Rebecca. And then up here it displays how it can interact with Trackmaster, and then there's Push Along, motorized engines, work on Trackmaster track. So yeah, really, really nice. I actually really like this packaging. It's quite good in my opinion. So let's open this up and take a look. So here is James out of the packaging. So first impressions, we'll just give you the quick spin around. So first impressions, not terrible. I've heard people bash these things, and to be honest, I kind of agree with it and also kind of don't. We'll get into that. First thing is we'll start with the individual pieces. Let's start with the tender. So the tender is entirely plastic. Not a single piece of metal on these besides maybe the metal axles, which, wow, that wheel rolls really smooth actually. Those are some really smooth running wheels, huh? It's got the standard new Trackmaster coupling on the back. No buffers on the back, but buffers right here. Huh. I don't know, maybe mine's a factory error, but leave a comment down below if they're all like that or if that's just a factory error. Then you've got the tender molding. You got a little coal load right there. You got the number 5. I wish that the top had at least been metal. Like, you didn't even have to make the bottom here. I just wish the top had been made metal, because it's very light, very cheap sounding. I just don't like that. Got the loose coupling right here. So yeah, not terrible. Big wheels. So yeah, not terrible. And then we have James right here, who I will say has a really nice face. That's a pretty good James face. It's a pretty good James face. It doesn't want to focus on James. There you go. That's a nice James face in my opinion. It's got a giant buffer beam with the little coupling on the front here. It's got the big wheels. It's got the really wide wheels, which is the biggest controversy with this locomotive. And so you've got all the nice gold detailing. So yeah, in my opinion, the biggest problem with James right now is the fact that he's too long. He is too stretched out and he's too long to what he should be. And that's basically my biggest problem with James, is he should have been made on one of the smaller engine chassis. Like, he should have used the smaller, like, Thomas chassis and then build a body on that, because James is about the same size as Thomas. The thing that makes him bigger is his tender. And I mean, I guess he's slightly taller, but in these lines, taller doesn't equal big. So it's usually length and width, because James is a very thin, narrow engine. So having this really wide wheelbase and wide running board just does not look right. I will admit though, it does got some nice detail. It's got all the black lines. It's got the little black here to fill in the hole, but there's no black on the back. So that's interesting. It's got the black roof. It's got the whistle. It's got some gold lining here. It's got a nice handrail. It's got the dome. It's also got the lamp irons, even though they're just stubs, they're still there. It's got a hole down the funnel, so that's nice. So yeah, so it's not bad. It's not terrible in my opinion. But yeah, it's not the best either. The top part, to know it's metal, this right here, this like mid part right here from the beginning of the boiler to the cab is all metal. The running board is all plastic. The base is plastic. The wheels are plastic, and the firebox is plastic. I do remember that Take Along used to have metal, and then this was just plastic, and then the wheels and then the face were all plastic. And then Take Along was the first to do the plastic fireboxes, or Take and Play. But still not terrible. In my opinion, this is actually a decent toy. It's one of the better toys that's come out of Mattel as of recent, besides Trackmaster. So yeah, not a terrible model. So we're gonna push that down a bit. So yeah, not a terrible model in my opinion. Could be better. And so yeah, so we're gonna discuss that right now. So we are gonna compare James to a few different things, not just Thomas things, but just other diecast things in general. So let's start with the most recent in terms of Mattel items, Thomas Wood James. This is my most recent Mattel item besides this. So as we look right here, you can see that this Thomas Wood James just does not look like James, where this looks way better. I really like the look of this compared to this one. This is way better in terms of this. Like, this is only $6. I am fine with paying that much for something like this. This is usually worth from $10 to $20. I hate that. I do not like that. So yeah, I was able to find mine for cheap, thank God. But yeah, not exactly. Except saying that this is better than this is not that high of a recommendation, because these are not very well received. So yeah, I mean, at least this got the tender shape right. So yeah, whatever. So next, we're gonna do the next thing, which is Wooden Railway James, which depicts James better, as they're actually, the diecast one isn't that much smaller than the Thomas Wooden Railway one, actually. That shocks me. They're almost about the same size. Yeah, no, in my opinion, this represents James better. It just looks more like James, in my opinion. The face is a Thomas face, mine's a factory error, but the faces never looked good back in 2003, but it does look like James in terms of the body, and I do think that this definitely looks better than this. Granted, this is wooden railway, so it's a completely different class of things, but it does. And the entire tender is made out of wood compared to this, which is plastic, even though I think this is supposed to be a die-cast range. Am I right? But yeah, I do think that this better represents it. And now we're gonna get into the die-cast comparisons. I'm not gonna compare this to that because this is just gonna beat this one right out of the water. So we're gonna first compare it to Adventures, what this replaced. So, this is my Adventures Shane. This is my only Adventures engine. I do have a Trevor, but we don't need to look at that. So, yeah. The die-cast amount, fairly similar, actually. This is all of Shane that's die-cast, this top portion. This is all of James that's die-cast. Very similar amount. The tender's entirely plastic. The faces are good. There's no front coupling on Shane, while there is one on James. The tenders are different in terms of the couplings, and however, the sizes are almost the same, actually. In my opinion, I do like the way that the wheelbases were done for the Adventures more than I do for these. I don't like the wideness that these wheels have between each other compared to the closeness with just the fake wheels. I don't know. I also prefer the couplings on the Adventures where you could twist them and stuff like that, where these ones are just locked. You can't go two ways with it. However, you can couple the two together, actually, I do believe. Yes, you can. You can couple these two together. So, if you do want to have your push-alongs or whatever couple up to your Trackmaster, or, sorry, if you want your Trackmaster push-alongs to couple up to your Adventures, you can do that. Level of detail is about the same, because in the grand scheme of things, there's not that much difference in merchandising. It's mostly just difference in scale. But, yeah, I mean, this is just a redone version, ever so slightly, of this, in my opinion, and I do prefer this. So I don't know why people hated Adventures, because I actually thought they were pretty good for what they are. So yeah. Next, we're going to do the next ever-loved die-cast range by Thomas and Friends, because I do not have any take-along. So we're going to do my Ertl. Which I have two, City of Churro and Lady, but we're going to do City of Churro because he's my only tender engine representation. I'm just going to say, this is so much better than this. Like, I'm sorry. The amount of die-cast is way more, because not only is the top of the engine die-cast, this is all die-cast. The base is plastic, so they do have that in similarity, like the wheels in plastic. The top part is the only part that's metal. However, the tenders are made out of metal. They're both made out of metal, which I just love so much more. I love that this is made way more out of metal, because the tender is metal compared to this. And also, these tenders should be the same size, theoretically. And James's tender is so much smaller. Yeah, I don't know. Again, you can couple the two lines together, I do believe. I think you can. You might not be able to, actually. Okay, no, I don't think you can, and I don't want to force it. Another thing that they had was the open cabs, which I liked. The just amount of detail in terms of the look of City of Churro compared to James is just so much better. I mean, it just looks so much better. Of course, City of Churro doesn't have a face, but, I mean, you got that smoke box detailing. So yeah, way better model than this one. So yeah. Now we're gonna look at some die-cast things that are not necessarily Thomas related, but are die-cast related and have special points to go with this. For one thing, the die-cast Maesto trains. Maesto made a line of die-cast locomotives, and here I have a boxcar from it. This is so much better detail than this is. Like, oh my gosh, I mean, look at that. All the rivets, the detail, like, Mattel doesn't have to produce things with the amount of detail of this, but at least make it better quality. Like, this thing is full die cast. You can hear that. I mean, that's plastic, but this entire top portion from this side to this side is all die cast. The only parts that aren't is this piece and the bogies. By the way, these actually run on real track. Like, they run on their own type of track on the rails, which is why they have the look of that. So, just saying. And then we have the other, or no, then we have Tron diecasts, which were a line of diecast toys, which I might do reviews here or I might make a second channel for. But these were also diecasts. If you know what Tron looks like, you know that this is an insanely accurate looking diecast. And it's way smaller than this diecast James. And not only is it more diecast, which you can hear, it also has really nicely detailed wheels and just nicer paint in general. Look, you can even see the little engine in there through a piece of glass. Like, that is insanely good detail. And then you have the other diecast line that Mattel owns, the ever-popular Cars. So this is their basic diecast. Do I even have to say which one's better? Not only is there way more diecast because the entire upper body is diecast besides like the spoiler and this like little piece right here, there's so much more detail. Like, they put so much attention into the finer detail into this model. I mean, if my camera will work, you can see all the little decals and everything on the model compared to James, who is just doesn't have nearly the same amount of detail, which is disappointing. It's really disappointing. And then here's the Precision series, which is made for adult collectors, which has even more great detail. It has actual rubber tires, which this is a model I did a review of, and an opening hood. Like, Mattel has made good stuff out of diecast models, and it just shames me that they're putting so much money into this diecast line and not into this. Like, just a little bit more money would have been great to put into this. And these, okay, not these, but these sell for about the same price. I think this is about $5. Well, actually, that's actually perfect, because this is $6, this is $5. I would rather pay for this than I would for this, which I did. I bought this at Disney. But I would prefer to buy this, because this just has so much better detail. And I don't know. I wish Mattel had put more effort into this, because I do genuinely like these, and I am planning to buy more, because there are some that I genuinely want. I want Noor Jehan. I want Rebecca, because in my opinion, Rebecca's actually a pretty decent looking model. I want Gordon, because again, Gordon looks actually really good, disregarding the wide spacing between the wheels. I want engines like Young Bao. I want engines like Ashima. Like, I want to collect these. Also, they're cheap, which compared to Wooden Railway is not cheap, so that's another reason why I want to get it. But yeah, I mean, it's just like Mattel could do so much better, but this is what they give us. And it just kind of sucks. I mean, I'm like, Mattel, you can do so much better, but this is what you give us. Whatever, let's try it on track. All right, so we're here with the Trackmaster Push-Along James and Thomas Wood track, which would be the theoretical wooden track that this would be running on, unless it would be like Brio, because this is the only Thomas wooden type of track that is being sold anymore, unless the parents went on to like eBay or something. So let's see how smooth it runs. So I have two pieces of straight track and one curve, because if it manages one curve, it'll manage all the curves, because there's only one type of curve in the entire line. So let's try it out. This should work. Yep, really smooth runner. Again, insanely nice and smooth. I am pleasantly surprised that Mattel did actually a good job along the curves. Here, let me put a straight piece of track along here. Yeah, that is actually a really smooth runner. Makes it through the entire loop without even derailing as well. That is actually really nice. That is really nice. I am pleasantly surprised, Mattel. You actually did something right for once. You made the thing that's supposed to run on this track smoothly, unlike but we don't talk about that. In my opinion, actually, in terms of performance, really nice. The coupling is decently strong. Coming apart like that, it's not as tough, but I mean, what do you expect? You're supposed to be able to take it on and off like that easily. However, pulling it apart like this, genuinely tough. I mean, I wasn't trying, but I mean, for a kid, they'd only be able to pull like so much. So, I mean, for a kid's diecast toy, this is actually pretty decent in terms of performance. I mean, really nice, smooth looking locomotive. Runs really nice and smooth, couples really well. Here, I actually haven't tried the front coupling. That's really nice too. And apparently James is a Garrett locomotive now. Yeah, actually a really nice smooth runner in my opinion. I think that is a nice runner. I actually really like that. Okay. So I guess now, get this piece of track out of here. My final thoughts on this locomotive. I will say, do I recommend it? If you do not have one, get one. I don't care what engine it is. It can be Noor-Jahan, Toby, James, Thomas, Percy, whatever. Nia, Rebecca. I would say get one though, just to feel it, just to test it out, because they're not that expensive. The cheapest ones are around $1 to $3, and the most expensive can be upwards of $20 at most, and that's usually only rarer characters like Noor-Jahan, maybe characters like Yang Bao, but that's mostly the more expensive characters who you don't find as much. These ones though, like James, Percy, Thomas, all those, I say get one. They're very cheap, and it's nice just to have one. Now, I'm actually personally going to collect more of these because they're a diecast line that I can easily collect, and they're very cheap. So I plan to get more of these. However, I would say get one just to test, just to see what it's like, whether you like it or not. In terms of detail, not bad. The detail, all the essential details are there. The number 5, the nice red color, it looks really accurate. The gold lining with the handrails and the black lining around the cab and the buffers. You got the whistle. The face is genuinely good in my opinion. So in terms of detail, not bad. Not bad for a $6 diecast toy. But I will say, compared to what we have gotten in the past, especially from other diecast companies, or even Mattel themselves, it is definitely the lowest quality diecast toy. Is it the lowest quality Thomas toy? No. That goes to your boy Wood over here. However, it is the least quality diecast toy that I own, which personally I don't care for. I mean, I'm fine with it. I still like this model. It has a decent amount of detail. I think it's pretty good. And in terms of a 1 to 10 ranking, I give it about 6 or a 7. Not bad. It's not a bad toy. Like, I am fairly easy on the Thomas Wood models. I think they're bad, but as toys, they're okay. But yeah, I definitely prefer the fully painted wood though. But yes, this is a decent toy. I think it is a fine toy for a cheap. If you're on a budget, it's good. It's perfectly good. I don't see the problem with it. I think it's a good, cheap Thomas toy. If you're on a budget, you need a toy for your kids. You only have, say, $5 to spend at the store. Get one of these. They're really cheap. They're nice. They're good. They're for what parts of them are die cast, it's nice, good quality feeling die cast. So yeah, I do recommend collectors of Thomas, get one. Get one locomotive. And then if you like it, get more, which is what I'm gonna do. If you don't like it, then don't buy any more. But don't go ahead and try and destroy this or burn it or whatever, because that's not gonna accomplish anything. So either way, I do recommend this for Thomas collectors. I think you should get at least one, but that's just my opinion. You guys have your own. This is Flying Scotsman 4472 signing out.